As I scrolled through Craigslist, a captivating Victorian mansion seized my attention, promising timeless elegance and historical charm. Eagerly signing the lease, I embarked on transforming the grand estate into my own haven. Little did I know that the history of this house would unfold as a haunting tale, more chilling than the enchanting facade suggested. Under the moon's silvery glow, the mansion's halls echoed with disembodied footsteps, creating an eerie symphony shattering the nocturnal stillness. Shadows danced in corners, concealing secrets that whispered in the darkness. Driven by curiosity, I delved into the house's archives, unearthing a macabre chronicle of tragedy, previous tenants meeting untimely ends, unexplained disappearances, and paranormal occurrences etched into its existence. Seeking answers, I consulted a local historian who unveiled a harrowing truth. The Victorian beauty stood atop an ancient burial ground. Restless spirits, disturbed by the intrusion, sought retribution, unleashing otherworldly disturbances within the mansion's confines. Attempting to disentangle myself from the spectral web, I found the house unwilling to release its newfound inhabitant. The more I struggled, the tighter its metaphysical grip became, as if the very essence of the house sought to bind me to its ethereal legacy. The once charming mansion now held me captive in its ghostly embrace, entwining my fate with tragic stories echoing through its walls. As the moon waxed and waned, the haunted legacy intensified, revealing hidden chambers adorned with symbols hinting at ancient rituals. The air crackled with arcane energy, and I realized the mansion's history was entwined with forces beyond comprehension. In the stillness of the night, I wandered through the mansion's library, where ancient tomes held the secrets of forgotten rituals. Attempts to share my haunting experiences were met with skepticism, leaving me isolated in my spectral predicament. Haunted by both the living and the dead, I grappled with isolation. The mansion became a lonely sanctuary, where boundaries between self and spirit blurred. Sleepless nights were punctuated by whispers that reverberated through the halls, sharing secrets only the dead knew. In the darkest corners, I discovered a hidden chamber adorned with symbols and sigils hinting at ancient rituals. As I delved into forbidden knowledge, I became a reluctant acolyte in a spiritual drama transcending time and mortality. The mansion's haunted legacy manifested in vivid dreams, transporting me to witness the lives and tragedies of its past inhabitants. In a moment of desperation, I sought the guidance of a spiritual medium, engaging in a surreal seance that channeled the voices of lingering spirits. As the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, I became a vessel for spectral narratives. Guided by the medium's wisdom, I embarked on a quest to uncover artifacts, symbols, and rituals that held the key to appeasing vengeful spirits. Navigating labyrinthine corridors, I uncovered forgotten artifacts revealing the mansion's history of esoteric knowledge. Spectral residents began revealing their stories, carrying burdens that transcended life and death. In a quest for redemption, paranormal experts and historians helped unravel forgotten rituals binding the spirits. The mansion became a crucible of supernatural energy as we embarked on rituals designed to appease restless spirits. Candles flickered, casting shadows on walls adorned with symbols. Chants echoed through the halls, resonating with ethereal energy. In the summer of 2015, I, Alex, found myself in Harmony Springs, Texas, ready for a new adventure with my friend Jordan. We stumbled upon a promising opportunity when we discovered a listing on Craigslist for a month-to-month rental in a two-family home in town. The landlord whom I contacted went by the name of Greg, and he assured us that the upstairs apartment was available. Excitement filled the air as we moved into the upstairs apartment, foregoing the need for a lease or any formalities. The downstairs apartment was already occupied by a tenant with a distinctive black van, a regular fixture in the driveway. Our temporary abode was decent, nothing too modern or fancy, but we saw it as a welcome escape from our parents' houses. The two-bedroom apartment boasted ample closet space, a living room, one bathroom, and a small kitchen. The bedrooms were strategically positioned on opposite sides of the floor, connected by a long hallway with the living room nestled in the middle. All the rooms and the hallway were carpeted, creating a cozy atmosphere. From the beginning, I couldn't shake the feeling of peculiar noises emanating from above, usually dismissed as routine house creaks. However, on one of the initial nights, the cracks in the wood above my bed took on a different rhythm, a steady pace that seemed unmistakably like footsteps. Alarmed, I hurried to Jordan's room to confirm if he, too, heard the mysterious sounds. The cracks had stopped by the time I reached him, and Jordan was understandably spooked, considering we were already on the upper level. Anything above us would logically be the attic, but strangely, our landlord Greg hadn't mentioned any attic space. Determined to unravel the mystery, I reached out to Greg the next day, inquiring about the existence of an attic. To my surprise, Greg adamantly denied it, attributing any sounds from above to the plumbing. Reluctantly, I accepted the explanation and continued to dismiss the noises as typical house sounds. The unsettling sounds persisted for several nights until one day I found myself alone in the seemingly empty house. Even with the downstairs tenant away, clear as day footsteps echoed above my head. Fueled by curiosity and a touch of trepidation, I embarked on a search for a potential attic door. To my surprise, the big closet in the hallway concealed a white door, obstructed by a hanging plastic garbage bag. As I moved the bag aside, a narrow staircase leading to another door revealed itself. With caution, I ascended the stairs and opened the rickety-looking wooden door, unveiling a sight beyond my wildest imagination. Before me lay a cramped, unkempt apartment, complete with a small, dirty kitchen, a worn-out sofa in the living room, and an open doorway leading to what seemed like a bedroom. The putrid smell of human waste filled the air, almost forcing me out, but not before I heard cracks in the floor from the adjoining room. Terrified, I retreated down the stairs, locked myself in my room, and dialed 911. When the police arrived, I guided them to the secret passageway, revealing a homeless-looking man in the hidden third-floor bedroom. Shockingly, the landlord arrived and confessed. This man was his troubled brother, and the third floor had been surreptitiously converted into a living space without a bathroom. The revelation explained the horrid smell, and according to the police, there was evidence of human waste in the makeshift living quarters. Greg and the man who appeared homeless were swiftly apprehended because the homeless-looking individual was a person of interest in a police investigation related to a murder. Faced with the shocking truth, Jordan and I pressed charges, swiftly moved out, and reclaimed our belongings. The police presence ensured a swift resolution to our unsettling discovery, leaving behind a tale of a seemingly ordinary apartment with an extraordinary secret hidden just above our heads. The Craigslist listing painted an idyllic picture of a modern haven, but as I moved in, reality twisted into a nightmarish realm. The spacious rooms, initially promising comfort, warped and distorted, their walls seeming to breathe with a life of their own. The once inviting architecture turned into a disorienting maze, trapping me in a surreal nightmare. Each step I took echoed with an eerie resonance, as if the house itself was alive and reveling in its newfound power. The walls whispered unsettling secrets, carrying the weight of forgotten memories and unseen horrors. Shadows danced in sinister patterns, casting grotesque shapes on the warped surfaces. The air, once filled with the promise of a fresh start, grew heavy with an otherworldly malevolence that seeped into every corner of the house. It was as if the very essence of the place fed on fear and despair. Frightened and desperate for answers, I embarked on a quest to unravel the mysteries that gripped this distorted reality. In a hidden attic, obscured by layers of dust and neglect, I uncovered a dusty journal that chronicled the harrowing experiences of previous tenants. Each entry spoke of the house's insidious ability to manipulate reality, shaping nightmares from the fears and insecurities of those within its walls. The journal revealed tales of rooms that shifted dimensions, trapping occupants in a perpetual state of disorientation. Desperate cries for help echoed through the pages, painting a grim picture of the tormented souls who had once sought refuge in this dwelling. It became clear that the Craigslist listing, which had promised a dream home, was instead an invitation to a distorted dimension, a portal fueled by the darkest recesses of the human psyche. Contacting the landlord proved to be a fruitless endeavor. Messages and calls went unanswered, as if the figure who had handed me the keys existed in a parallel dimension, detached from the horrors unfolding within the house. Undeterred, or perhaps fueled by a newfound determination, I ventured deeper into the labyrinthine halls. Grotesque figures materialized from the shadows, their distorted forms leering and contorting as if mocking my futile attempts to escape. Faces twisted in pain and despair manifested in the peeling wallpaper, and ghostly whispers surrounded me with chilling messages. The house reveled in its ability to torment its inhabitants, a malevolent force basking in the fear it had cultivated. As I delved into the heart of the house's darkness, I realized that escaping its clutches would require confronting the deepest fears within myself. The distorted dimension seemed to reflect the darkest recesses of my own psyche, as if the house itself was a mirror to the hidden nightmares that lurked within. Each step forward brought me closer to the truth, but also deeper into the clutches of a reality that defied all understanding. The once pristine rooms now seemed like portals to alternate dimensions, each corridor leading to a new manifestation of terror. Time lost its meaning, and the boundaries between dream and reality blurred into a disorienting amalgamation. The distorted dimension consumed my thoughts, playing tricks on my mind and distorting my perception of the world outside. Haunted by the relentless torment within the house, I wrestled with the shadows that seemed to cling to my very soul. The grotesque figures became extensions of my own fears, manifesting in twisted reflections that mirrored the darkest corners of my consciousness. In facing these internal demons, I began to understand the twisted symbiosis between the house and its inhabitants. The more it fed on my fears, the more it revealed the depths of my own vulnerabilities. Days turned into endless nights as I navigated the labyrinth of horrors, the distorted reality becoming a nightmarish purgatory. The once hopeful endeavor of finding a dream home transformed into a desperate struggle for survival. With each passing moment, the house tightened its grip, drawing me further into the abyss of its own creation. The distorted dimension, now a manifestation of my own psychological unraveling, seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. The walls closed in, distorting my senses and blurring the line between self and the nightmarish landscape that surrounded me. It became clear that escaping this house meant confronting the deepest fears that the distorted reality had brought to the surface. As I reached the heart of the labyrinth, the house seemed to exhale a final breath of malevolence. Grotesque figures contorted into a final dance of torment, and the walls whispered a cacophony of chilling secrets. In that moment of surreal clarity, I understood that the only way to break free from the distorted dimension was to confront and overcome the fears that held me captive. Summoning every ounce of courage, I faced the distorted reflections of my own insecurities. The grotesque figures melted away, and the walls ceased their whispering. The once warped rooms began to stabilize, returning to a semblance of normalcy. The air, once heavy with malevolence, lifted as if a weight had been lifted from the very soul of the house. With a sense of liberation, I stepped out of the distorted reality that had ensnared me. The Craigslist listing, which had promised a haven, had become a doorway to a realm of psychological torment. As I closed the door behind me, the house seemed to recede into the shadows, its malevolent presence fading into the recesses of my memory. The experience left an indelible mark on my psyche, a reminder that sometimes the most alluring facades hide the darkest secrets. The Craigslist listing, once a beacon of hope, became a cautionary tale, a story whispered in hushed tones about a house that existed on the fringes of reality, a place where dreams turned into nightmares, and the line between the imagined and the tangible blurred into a disorienting dance of shadows.